Who says I don't talk about good news? This comes to us from Video Games Chronicle. More than 1,200 games journalists have left the media in the last 2 years. According to Press Engine data, the global pool of games journalists has shrunk by 25%. I would say, from what I'm seeing, especially in the gaming realm, it's a good start. More than 1,200 video game journalists have left the media in the past 2 years and haven't returned to the industry, it's claimed, which that, by the other perspective that I've been saying for a while, that, by the way, is exactly what I've been saying from day one. If these people are let go, they will not be rehired because the money has run out. The well has run dry. There is not support for people going to these websites anymore. We don't need 75 different fucking professional video game review websites. Is it great? Sure, if they're reviewing video games. But what have we learned? They weren't getting enough views and clicks on just reviewing games and talking about games and making game guides. So what did they start doing? Clickbait articles, talking about gender ideology, and pushing LGBTQ narratives and trying to be very aggressive with the game industry on the whole to shift how games are made. That is not your job. Your job is to make a fucking game guide. Know your role. That's according to data supplied to Video Games Chronicle by Press Engine, a popular PR tool used by developers and publishers to distribute codes and press releases to a global database of journalists and content creators. So I would argue that is actually a fairly accurate. Again, this is one of those data points. Trust me, bro. But I feel like it would be an accurate one if they're telling them about 12 or more than 1,200. Sorry, more than 1,200 people being let go tells me that they have data saying that more than 1,200 email addresses have been deleted and not replaced with new people. So I'd say it's fairly accurate to hear this from them. According to Press Engine, more than 600 journalists who regularly covered video games at major outlets around the world have disappeared from their database in the past 12 months. Virtually the same number of people left their positions in the 12 months before that, the firm said, and haven't taken up new roles at other media companies since. So I will say one of the things I've noticed, like a trend, a very scary trend of failed journos, is they're finding jobs at video game companies or consultancy groups or marketing companies or firms that are tangentially related to the games being made. So just because they've left the games journalism outlet doesn't mean they're out of the games industry, to be very clear on that. So some of them are failing upwards out of it, and they're not being replaced. According to Press Engine's database of Tier 1 publications that cover games, which is defined as major websites, both specialist and mainstream, with 7-figure plus audiences, the global pool of game journalism has declined by 25% in just 2 years. Oof. You know, this calls for a perfect time to be playing this one.
I'm fired.
I told AI to say I'm fired, and he says I'm fired. The vast majority of these departures were from specialist games websites like IGN, Polygon, or GamePot. Also, don't forget, Kotaku had massive layoffs. This is also, I don't believe, including TheGamer that just happened right after this article posted. So even though it's dropping rapidly, it's actually increasing velocity as time goes on. If amateur, part-time, or freelance writers are included, the number of departures from games media swells to more than 4,000. What? So I was assuming this was everyone. So they're saying these are the top tier pro of pro journos were 1,200. They're saying if you count the part-time freelance or the people that just work here and there, 4,000 of them are gone and not replaced. Holy. The figures highlight a significant drop in the number of people writing about video games. Wait, you're assuming they were writing about video games? Sure, they worked at a quote unquote video game outlet, but were they actually writing about video games? Either because they've chosen to change professions or have been affected by the wave of redundancies that have hit most major game publications since the pandemic. Like the games industry, publications that cover video games have been rocked by a turbulent market since the highs of COVID-19 pandemic. Media owners like IGN, Fandom, Gamer Network, and Valnet have all cut jobs in the past year. Let's fucking go. Let's go. This is the bloat from the fallout from the pandemic of money falling from helicopters being tossed out by the government and companies eating it up and spending it on bringing as many people as they can into their company, make it seem bigger than it is, trying to sell more advertisements to advertisers and make their brand as big as possible. The money ran out, the money never came in, and these people are going back to put the fries in the bag. According to Press Engine co-founder Gareth Williams, the most significant contributors to job losses in the games media are an overall shift towards covering the biggest games, resulting in increased competition for those who remain, and harmful changes introduced by the Google search engine. So what you're telling me is harmful changes introduced by Google for you, but for people searching for information, it has been beneficial to them to find people that are actually talking about what they are interested in finding. Would that be a fair judgment? This is one of those either side of the coin you're on. If you're in the games journal business and you're fired, it is a harmful change. But if you're somewhere else, say social media or YouTube or any number of areas or your own website, there are changes that have evened the playing field from Google with their search engine, and it's pissing them off because these people are entitled. They think that they're the ones that deserve the attention and no one else should be looked at, just them, because they have access. A culmination of a number of factors that cost video games journalism some of the brightest talents, Williams told VGC. The COVID highs, followed by lack of diversification. I'm sure they're not lacking any diversity. Diversification of advertising spend, Google's helpful content update, summaries, and there it is, the biggest one. I like how he left that for last. AI have contributed to where we are now. Guys, when I was going over some of the articles, specifically from, I believe it was TheGamer, pretty sure. I think Game Rant as well did this, where the article was entirely AI. And the writer, I could not find any information on the person outside of their profile picture and fake social media account with no posts. And I'm like, how do we know this is even a person that works there? It's like dead internet theory. They're just like, hey, there's a picture of a person, there's a name of a person, and there's an article under it. It's a, trust me, bro, someone wrote this. How do you know? Who is this person? The article is shit. Your website is shit because the article is shit. But it's to save money and appear bigger than you are. Fan-led media might be the simplest route to consolidate revenue for publishers and secure the future for staff, but it's only the start. I would say this fan-led media, that literally is describing independent YouTubers and independent outlets. That Park Place comes to mind, joining up with Geeks and Gamers recently. This is the future. He added, in a consumer world where ad blocking is standard and games as a service and social media are communication tools where children and adults form their relationships, video games media needs to evolve and innovate. Support your favorite publications before you don't have the choice, which I, from day one, have always said that. If you enjoy what I provide you, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you enjoy other creators, support them as well. If you enjoy websites like Kotaku, go get yourself checked into a mental hospital. The point is, support who you want to support. That's going to be the future. It goes with the wallet decides what happens in the games industry. The purchasing power of the people is what's going to determine the games coming out in the future. So speak with your wallet on the games that you buy and understand that every time you buy a game that supports an agenda that you don't agree with, you're enabling a company to say, yeah, they were fine with it. They might not have agreed with us or not, but hey, it doesn't matter. The money's still the same color. Veteran games journalist Alex Donaldson, who owns the publication RPG Site and regularly writes for major outlets, agrees that the games media's recent troubles are primarily due to Google. Anything but themselves. They will literally cope about anything but we suck. It's always Google. It's always something else. But also to changing reader habits. No, it's it's not. It's really not. It's really not. Well, I shouldn't say it's not. It is and it's not. It's not because people left because you were not providing them what they wanted. So it's like chicken or the egg. So readers' habits changed to find outlets that would provide them the information they've been looking for. He argued that layoffs could have been avoided with better management of media businesses. That is so much cope, it's not even funny. That is hysterical. If the management just led the company better, everyone would still have a job. Well, if that's the case, you just said changing reader habits. How could you force readers to not change their habits with your writers? What could they possibly do? You're saying that readers are changing their habits to go somewhere else. You have journalists that are writing articles. You got to make them do something different. Oh my God, this is a lot of cope here. We're now seeing increased numbers of brands ran off the road entirely through a confluence of factors, but certainly primarily led by search changes, Google's AI summaries, and even user behavior changes as a portion of queries move directly to services like ChatGPT. Fair, very true. Where does ChatGPT get its information from, by the way? Oh, journalists. Oh, the articles that you guys are writing. So it's kind of one of those circular arguments. Oh, we need ChatGPT and we're losing our jobs to this. If no one is writing any articles, if there's no information getting out there, where's ChatGPT going to pull it from? YouTubers, independent media sources, people who are providing the information to feed the algorithm. These people are losing to us, and they're blaming it on Google. My expectation is that games media will continue to shrink for at least the next 12 months. Any earthquake has aftershocks, and I'm currently not even convinced that we've hit the grip of the main earthquake yet. This might be the foreshocks. For quality games media, I continue to believe that the best form of stability is dedicated reader bases to remove reliance on funds and a hybrid of direct reader funding and advertisements. If people want to keep reading quality content from the full-time professionals, they need to support it or lose it. That's never been more critical than now. Again, people are doing that. I would argue, by the way, and I've said this before, not that it's not without its issues, but this is an article from Video Games Chronicle. To me, Video Games Chronicle is one of the better outlets out there. Is it great? It's better than, we'll say, TheGamer, Kotaku, IGN, those kind of things. I prefer Video Games Chronicle over those, but that doesn't mean it's perfect, and it doesn't mean there aren't people on the staff that are complete woketards. But still, Donaldson continued, although to be clear, this isn't all on demanding reader support. A not insignificant proportion of the losses the games media has suffered, I strongly feel could have been avoided with better management, clarity, and more realistic expectations on the part of the proprietors. There we go. This is classic. They're calling people full-time professionals. If you've seen what these people say, how they talk about how they steal stories from me and other YouTubers, you realize these people are not professionals. Many of them are fucking hacks. And when you call them out, they will get their buddies together and blackball the fuck out of you. It is a cabal, it is a cult, and it needs to be broken up. And naturally, that is happening right now. And I love to see it. I'm here for it. Even this week, we've seen talented people with a high work output laid off by a larger parent that doesn't seem to have a solid strategy. The best protection against these sorts of losses for the media at large is a healthy slate of truly independent outlets, not beholden to such parents. Supporting those is particularly vital. Here's the funny part about that. What I think they're trying to insinuate with this is when these quote unquote professional journals are laid off and they start their own Substacks, please support those people that got laid off. Whereas I would fight back and say, the reason they got laid off is because nobody was supporting them on a major site. How the fuck are they going to be successful on their own? If they can make it there, have at it. I know that there's a lot of outlets that do it, but I would argue what's eating their lunch right now are average Joes out there that just have a undying passion for covering the games industry. And you can't beat passion by just having experience in this world. They just rely on their experience. Oh, I've been doing this for so long. I deserve the access. I'm going to suck the corporate knob of these companies and they're going to give me the games for free. And they're going to make sure I give them good reviews back and all the exchanges behind the scenes. People have woken up to that and be like, fuck that. I just want to watch a YouTuber that just gives it to us straight. I don't want to listen to someone tell me how to think. I want to listen to someone who's honest and allows me to think for myself. Because at the end of the day, that's all I want out of myself when I'm watching another content creator. But anyways, I'll leave that there.